All right, SOFI update here on the 7th. So we got our answer here. The last video I did was actually Friday, I think. And I said there's two different possibilities. One possibility, we make a lower low compared to 1206, or we come up here and fill the gap first. I think I said in that video that filling the gap is going to be very bullish. Breaking the low of 1206 before we fill this gap is going to be very bearish. Why did I think that? Because if we went down here and made a lower low without filling the gap, it's most likely a 5-wave move. But if we fill the gap, it's most likely a B wave. And then you also take a look at the fact that this only took 1 day to get down here, right after earnings. And then we chopped and went higher for 7 days. So that takes away the probability of this being a fourth wave as well. So now that we know that this is more than likely not a 5-wave move, we can pretty much narrow it down to one possibility. And that possibility is coming down here to fill this gap at 1142. Because again, this would end up being the A wave. This would be the B wave. And the C wave would come down here to 11 bucks. What is that going to end up being? It could end up being a fourth wave, or it could be a B wave. Either way, down here at 11 bucks, it's going to be a buy, because if it's 5 waves, we're just going to go like that. If it's a B wave, then we're also going to go up here like this. I think if it's a B wave, you could be looking at 16 bucks. Let's see. Maybe actually up here to this gap. Yeah, maybe all the way up here to this gap at 18 bucks. Let's see. There's a gap here at 18 bucks or 17.80. There's a small gap here at 16.17. So there's a chance that we end up going all the way up to 18 bucks after we hit 11. If it's a fifth wave, I would lean towards maybe like 15, 16. But if it's a C wave, there's a good chance it comes all the way up here to 18 bucks. If it's a 5-wave move, though, it'd be more bullish because our retracement would only come down here to like the 0.5 or 0.61 fib, somewhere in this range, right here. If it ends up being a B wave, then we're probably looking at a flat, which just means we'd be looking at where's this at? Whatever. So A, B, C, B, and then be looking for at least one more move down here. And the fact that it came all the way back to the top, if it ends up being a B wave that high, you might just see 5 waves back down here to 850, like that. So I do think that at some point there will be a pullback, and I do think short term we're coming back down here to 11 bucks. Either way, if it's a fourth wave or a B wave. But if we make the higher B wave here, we're probably going to come down here lower than if we just make a fifth wave. Make a fifth wave, then it's probably just going to come back down here to like 9, 10, 11 bucks. If we make a normal flat, it could come all the way back here to 850 again. So I would really just focus on the short term, what I talked about. Basically, I think we're going down to 11 bucks short term. But then from there, we should be running to a higher high compared to 1457, whether it's a fifth wave or if it's a C wave of an overall B wave. So that's pretty much all there is to say about it right now. I'm looking for this to sell off from here down to 11 bucks. And then from there, we'll see. Is it a fourth wave or is it a B wave? And it's going to depend on the overall market. If the overall market is super bullish after a pullback, we could see a gap fill all the way up here to 1784. And that would put pretty much a bottom here at 860. So that is the update for today. Looking for 11 bucks in this gap fill at 11.43. And then from there, I'm looking for a higher high above 14.51. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and I will catch you in the next video. Let's see what happens. Probably, I would say this week, probably unlikely that we come down all the way to 11. It's probably going to happen sometime next week.